You've been lying to yourself. Every time you scroll past that adventure bike listing, every time you dismiss it as too tall or too heavy or not practical for my commute. The lie isn't about the bike. It's about who you are, who you want to be, and what's stopping you from becoming that person. Let's be honest. You're not afraid of the bike. You're afraid of what it represents. The freedom you don't allow yourself. The adventures you keep postponing. That adventure bike isn't just sitting in the dealership. It's sitting in the corner of your mind, waiting for you to admit what you already know. Your current motorcycle isn't enough anymore. Chapter 1. The Comfortable Prison. Your current bike makes sense on paper. It's reliable, practical, reasonable. Words that describe good investments and sensible shoes, not machines that are supposed to set your soul on fire. Your bike isn't bad. It's worse. It's boring. Think about your last 10 rides. How many were just commutes? When was the last time you came home with mud on your boots or dust on your visor? When was the last time your sensible commuter bike got you a story worth telling at a barbecue? When did you last feel that surge of adrenaline when the pavement ends and something new begins? The Japanese have a concept called ikigai, your reason for being. What's your motorcycle's ikigai? Is it to sit in traffic? To make the same predictable turns on the same predictable roads? To be washed more often than it's ridden? Adventure bikes exist because someone realized motorcycles should have a greater purpose. Look at the data. The average American rides less than 3,000 miles per year. That's barely braking in the engine. The roads less traveled make up 35% of America's 4.2 million miles of roadways. That's 1.47 million miles you're choosing not to explore because your current bike makes sense. Chapter 2. The Height Excuse. Let's address the elephant in the room. Adventure bikes are tall. The average seat height is 33 to 35 inches. Your current bike is probably around 30. Those extra inches feel like miles when you're at a stoplight, tiptoeing, praying you don't drop it in front of that group of cruiser riders watching from the gas station. I get it. I've been there. But here's what nobody tells you. Height isn't about inches. It's about technique. The physics of a motorcycle don't care about your inseam. They care about your center of gravity, your weight distribution, your confidence. That adventure bike that seems impossibly tall at the dealership becomes manageable after your first 500 miles. Your body adapts. Your technique improves. The bike that felt like a giraffe becomes an extension of your body. And let's be honest about the height advantage. Those extra inches mean better ground clearance, better visibility in traffic, better suspension travel for when the road gets rough. The height you fear is actually the height you need. Modern adventure bikes have evolved. The BMW F850 GS has a low seat option, bringing it down to 32.1 inches. The Triumph Tiger 900 can be lowered to 31.9. The Honda Africa Twin has an adjustable seat and suspension that can drop it below 32 inches. Your excuse is 3 model years outdated. Chapter 3. The Weight Paradox. Yes, adventure bikes are heavier than your sport bike or naked. The average is around 500 pounds wet. That sounds like a lot until you realize what that weight represents. It's not fat, it's muscle. That weight includes crash protection you don't have now, frames designed to carry loads your current bike can't, suspension components that soak up impacts that would send you over the bars on your street bike. The weight isn't a liability, it's an investment in capability. Here's the paradox. A heavier bike designed for adventure often feels lighter in actual use than a lighter bike pushed beyond its limits. Try taking your 425-pound street bike down a gravel road. Feel how nervous it gets, how the front end washes out, how every pebble becomes a potential crash. Then ride a 500-pound adventure bike down the same road. Night and day. The weight distribution on adventure bikes is fundamentally different. The center of gravity is lower than it appears. Engineers spend thousands of hours optimizing this distribution specifically so the bike feels lighter than it is when in motion. Your fear of weight is based on a static number, not the dynamic experience. Remember that time you had to make a U-turn in a tight space and nearly dropped your lightweight sport bike? Yeah, that wouldn't have happened on an adventure bike with its better turning radius and lower center of gravity. Ironic, isn't it? Chapter 4. The capability you're denying yourself. Your current bike does one thing well. Maybe it carves canyons, maybe it cruises highways, maybe it splits lanes in city traffic. But an adventure bike does all of these things competently, plus everything you're currently missing. It's the Swiss Army knife in a world where you've limited yourself to a steak knife. Modern adventure bikes are not the compromised, awkward dual sports of the past. A BMW R1250 GS will outhandle many sport bikes on real-world roads with real-world conditions. A KTM 890 Adventure will out-accelerate most cruisers while carrying enough gear for a week-long trip. A Yamaha Tenere 700 will outlast nearly anything on the market while costing less to maintain. The versatility isn't just about different types of roads, it's about freedom from conditions. Rain that would send you home on your current bike becomes just another element on an adventure bike. Wind that would make your naked bike a miserable experience is manageable behind an adjustable windscreen. Your current bike is a fair-weather friend. An adventure bike is a partner in crime regardless of forecast. And then there's the terrain you're excluding from your life. Fire roads that lead to the best camping spots in your state. Forest Service roads that connect to views you've only seen on Instagram. Trails that lead to fishing spots inaccessible to cars. The adventure bike doesn't just handle these conditions, it thrives in them. It reveals an entire parallel world that exists just beyond the pavement you've limited yourself to. Remember that time you had to turn around because the road turned to gravel? The adventure bike owner behind you just smiled and kept going. Where did they end up? What did they see that you didn't? That question has been eating at you ever since. Chapter 5. The community you're missing. Riders of adventure bikes are different. They don't just ride to coffee shops to be seen. They ride to places specifically because they haven't been seen by many. The community isn't built around brand loyalty or horsepower numbers. It's built around experiences, around stories, around helping each other explore. Look at the forums. Adventure riders share GPS tracks of amazing routes. They organize group camping trips. They help each other with mechanical issues in remote locations. When was the last time your current riding community helped you discover something truly new? The adventure riding community also spans age and experience levels in ways other motorcycle niches don't. You'll find 25-year-olds and 75-year-olds at the same events, sharing the same passion, learning from each other. The focus isn't on who's fastest or who has the most expensive bike, it's on who has the best story, who discovered the most interesting route. Ever notice how adventure riders always wave to each other on the road? Not the obligatory 2 fingers down that everyone does. A full, enthusiastic wave, like they're greeting a friend they haven't seen in years. That's not just courtesy. That's recognition. They know something you don't. Yet. Chapter 6. The real reason you're hesitating. Let's get to the heart of it. The real reason you haven't bought that adventure bike isn't the height. It's not the weight. It's not even the cost. It's fear. Not fear of the bike, but fear of what it represents. Fear of stepping outside the comfortable boundaries you've created for yourself. That adventure bike is a mirror. It shows you the gap between who you are and who you want to be. Between the rides you take and the rides you dream about. Between the stories you tell and the stories you wish you could tell. You're afraid you'll buy it and not use it to its potential. That it will become just another commuter, a constant reminder of adventures not taken. You're afraid of being that person with the clean adventure bike, the poser, the one who bought the image but couldn't live up to it. But here's what you're not considering. The bike changes you. It doesn't just sit there waiting for you to become someone else. It actively transforms you into the rider who can handle it. The first time you take it down a dirt road and survive, your confidence grows. The first time you navigate a rocky section that would have been impossible on your old bike, your skills expand. The first time you camp next to it in a location accessible only on 2 wheels, your horizons permanently widen. You know that feeling when you're packing up your current bike for a trip and have to leave half your gear at home? Adventure bikes laugh at your packing list. Is that all you've got? They ask. We've got room for more. Chapter 7. The decision that changes everything. The day you finally throw your leg over your own adventure bike, something shifts. Not just in how you ride, but in how you see the world. Roads you've passed 1,000 times without a second thought suddenly become invitations. Weather forecasts become suggestions rather than commands. Maps transform from navigation tools to menus of possibility. Your riding changes physically. You stand on the pegs more, engaging your core, connecting to the bike in a way you never did before. You look further ahead because the bike can handle more, can go further, can absorb impacts that would have sent you flying before. Your planning changes too. Rides become less about the destination and more about the journey. You start looking for the interesting way rather than the efficient way. Gas stations become opportunities to talk to locals about what's down that dirt road you noticed. Overnight trips become weekend explorations. Weekend explorations become week-long adventures. The adventure bike doesn't just change where you can go. It changes who you can bring. Those friends who were interested in riding but intimidated by sport bikes, they can sit comfortably on your passenger seat now. That partner who never understood your obsession with motorcycles, they might finally get it when you take them to places only accessible on your new bike. Remember that time you had to say no to that group ride because it included unpaved sections? With an adventure bike, you never have to say no again. Except maybe to overtime at work, because suddenly you've got better places to be. Chapter 8. The bike you already know you need. Deep down, you've known this all along. That adventure bike isn't just another motorcycle. It's a key that unlocks the rider you're meant to be, the experiences you're meant to have, the life that's waiting just beyond the boundaries you've accepted. Every time you see one on the road, something stirs inside you. Every time you watch a video of someone exploring on two wheels, you feel a pull towards something authentic. Every time you find yourself bored with the same old rides on the same old roads, your subconscious is trying to tell you something. Listen to it. The adventure bike you're afraid to admit you need isn't just sitting in a showroom. It's not just on your browser tabs at 2 a.m. It's waiting inside you, in the part of you that knows there's more to riding than what you've allowed yourself to experience so far. It's in the stories you want to tell, but haven't lived yet. Stop making excuses about seat height and weight and practicality. Stop postponing the adventures that could be defining your life right now. That adventure bike isn't just a machine you might buy someday. It's the vehicle for the life you're not yet brave enough to admit you want. The choice isn't really about the bike, it's about who you want to be. The cautious rider who never ventures beyond their comfort zone? Or the explorer who sees every ride as an opportunity for discovery? The collector of routine commutes? Or the creator of stories worth telling? You already know the answer. You've known it every time you've looked at that adventure bike and felt something stir inside you. Every time you've watched riders disappear down roads your current bike can't handle. Every time you've settled for the familiar when something inside you craved the unknown. The adventure bike is waiting. Your future self is waiting. The only thing standing between you and the rider you're meant to be is admitting you're ready.